This is one of 15 Ford F-150 Lightnings being used throughout DCR, Massachusetts. And not only does it not have any emissions, it also has a frunk. So you have to turn off your cellular connection, and then it has you need the clear sky, and it's trying to link up with the satellite. Now, I did this beforehand, and I know that my nearest satellite is going to be that way, but it's especially convenient for people like hurricane situations where cell service may not be available. Massachusetts saw over 200 brush fires in the month of October. That's more than 11 times the average for this time of year, and it's all because of this. Now, your average pumpkin may weigh anywhere between 10 and 20 pounds, but these are no average pumpkins I'm with today. This is this year's largest pumpkin winner, 1,556 pounds. If this is how you're trying to enjoy your pool this weekend, there's one test you have to pass before you can dip your toes in. Hypothermia and frostbite aren't the only things you have to worry about in times of cold weather. Something as simple as shoveling snow could send you to the hospital. You might be confused as to what these are behind me. Right over here we have a hydro rake. Now this is going to scoop up all of that gunk on the shoreline and put it on here. This is going to be a conveyor, and this is going to transport this to a truck so it can be composted later. While my sunglasses are fashionable, they're not going to keep me safe while I'm viewing the solar eclipse. Solar eclipse glasses are just one of the safety precautions you need to take on April 8th. With travel costs higher than ever, RVing is becoming a lot more popular. Taking a look at this one, we got a bedroom, a bathroom here, a full kitchen, and a nice seating area, and you can bring this wherever you want to go. This was the bench in Storm Park just months ago, now reduced to rubble. All that's left is questions unanswered. And just like this Belgian waffle right here, you can get lots of food here today, and we've had great weather to start it off, but I want to know if it's going to last, and I'm going to ask my good friend, 22 News Storm Team meteorologist Brian Lapis.
Conditions along Riverside Road in Springfield have residents wondering when roads are going to get fixed.
And 22 News reporter Jack Wu, who's also with the 22 News Storm Team, went to Riverside Road earlier today. And Jack, just how bad were those potholes?
Well, Alana, we actually decided to come back to Riverside Road. It's right here behind me. We can see that some of these potholes are filled in with dirt, but that leaves residents with another problem. Construction cones on one side of the road have basically made this road a one-lane street, increasing the possibility for a head-on collision.
4 courts in Springfield were closed today after a water main break on State Street last night. 22 News reporter Jack Wu is live outside the courthouse with updates on the damage, Jack.
Construction crews behind me are working outside the Roderick L. Ireland Courthouse to try and make repairs to the water main break that happened earlier this morning. 4 courts were affected, including Springfield District Court, Juvenile Court, Western Housing Court, and Hampton Superior Court. 22 News spoke with Springfield Water and Sewer earlier today to get an update on the progress.
Able to isolate the main pretty quickly, shut the valves around it so that the water would stop leaking, and then we're working on the repair of the service line.
Water was previously shut off for several buildings in the area, but has since been restored. Road closures have been confined to State Street between Main Street and East Columbus, and we did just get an update that water was restored for the courthouse and that the street should be open by around 7 p.m. this evening. Working for you, I'm Jack Wu, 22 News.
Time now is 12:32, and our live team coverage of today's total solar eclipse continues. Adam Strumko and Jack Wu with the 22 News Storm Team are live in St. Johnsbury, Vermont, right in the path of totality, guys.
Oh my gosh, it's just sunshine, no clouds yet, and we're hoping it stays that way too. And also, look at all the people on the street. Tons of festivities. We have food trucks. Everyone's dog is out, and their dogs are also out. This is the Planetarium and Museum here in St. Johnsbury, and they had a line wrapping around the corner, Adam. It was crazy when we first got here, and now things are even starting to ramp up more so, and we're still 3 hours away.
A coyote that attacked 2 people in Agawam tested positive for rabies. This is the second animal to test positive for the disease in town in just the last couple of weeks. Jack Wu with the 22 News Storm Team is live in studio. Jack, should residents be concerned about more attacks like this in the future?
Well, Nick, attacks like these don't happen very often, but the discovery of rabies in that coyote is causing distress among local officials. A coyote injured 2 people in Robinson State Park on Saturday. The coyote tested positive for rabies later that day. Allison Strong with Agawam Animal Control says instances like these are particularly concerning.
When an incident like that happens, red flags go up with those of us in this industry immediately.
The National Institute of Health says rabid coyotes are 18 times more likely to attack someone than normal coyotes. Megan Crawford, a biologist with Mass Wildlife, told me regular coyote sightings are nothing to be afraid of.
The mere presence, the sight of a coyote in your neighborhood, walking down your streets, is not necessarily a cause for concern.
Coyote attacks in Massachusetts are a rare sight. According to Mass Audubon, there's been fewer than 10 in the past 60 years, but this doesn't mean that they don't happen. That's why you should always be prepared, especially if you enjoy the outdoors frequently. Sean Gaffney with Robinson State Park gives a tip to those who like to hike or run with their pets.
Always keep your animals on leashes. Coyotes and other animals are attracted to dogs specifically. Animals and wildlife are to be found at all of our state parks.
This is the third case of rabies in Agawam this year. One of these cases involved a house cat only 2 weeks ago. And this coyote attack could imply that there are more wild animals in the area that also have rabies. Working for you, I'm Jack Wu with the 22 News Storm Team.
The American Red Cross held a disaster relief training in Springfield this morning. 22 News reporter Jack Wu is live in Springfield with how training efforts have ramped up in the past few weeks. Jack.
Disaster relief training sessions are now a high priority for the American Red Cross as the Southeast braces for yet another potentially major hurricane.
A lot of people say, it will never happen to me.
The American Red Cross hosted disaster relief training at the Bay Area Neighborhood Resident Resource Center Monday morning. These training events come at a crucial time as the southeastern U.S. could experience another major hurricane later this week. Luca Calvani has been training volunteers for 4 years. He told 22 News why the need for volunteers is urgent.
No region can possibly deal with something like this on their own, but we are seeing an increase in the number of national climate-related disasters, and unfortunately after COVID, a decrease in local volunteering.
The training timeline for volunteers has been expedited from 3 weeks to 1 because of limited resources in Georgia, Florida, and North Carolina. This is a mobile response vehicle, an MRV, and currently the American Red Cross is deploying these throughout the Southeast in anticipation for Hurricane Milton. Bill Boyer is a retired EMT. He described how these vehicles save countless lives in emergency situations.
It's the first response because, we try to get there early before things start to deteriorate and before people scatter. We've already sent people in that's waiting so we can be first on scene and take care of the people's immediate needs with these type of vehicles.
And they're also starting to provide online training resources for those who want to help, but they can't make it in person. Working for you, I'm Jack Wu, 22 News.